people who want to get rid of the idea behind Bitcoin and just use it as a tool for Wall Street. There has to be a fight, because if we let that happen, very bad things will happen. In fact, there is a specific effort against people who hold Bitcoin to try and get them to be compliant in that way, and that's done by controlling the discourse in the media space. The people who use Bitcoin should want to go back to the original ideas, not the other way around. That needs to be fought for. That needs to be important again. Satoshi Nakamoto came up with Bitcoin during the 2008 financial crisis. The idea behind this autonomous digital money was to free people from having to depend on governments and central banks. The goal was to have the fastest computer network power 21 million digital gold coins. Innovation, it wasn't managed like real gold, it wasn't used to make money, and it didn't lead to inflation. Bitcoin has had a hard time becoming a valid currency, despite its potential. People aren't sure if Bitcoin is real money because it can't buy food or coffee. Bitcoiners made money to show that they were wrong. Bitcoiners are driven by micro-strategies. Michael Saylor has said that Bitcoin is more like property than money. People who own Bitcoin don't have to buy food or coffee like people who own expensive paintings or Manhattan blocks do. In these talks, Saylor also said that supporting Bitcoin as an alternative to money could have an effect on important people. Whitney Webb, a well-known investigative reporter, and Mark Goodwin, the editor-in-chief of Bitcoin magazine, told TFTC that it is important to show Bitcoin's core ideals and how it was created to free people from traditional banking. Some famous people who use Bitcoin think that BlackRock and Wall Street back them. Whitney believes that putting numbers ahead of people is not a good thing. Do you like this video? Follow the channel and turn on post alerts to get more talks. Take part in the chat below. Every move you take makes YouTube's algorithm and channel better. Glad you watched, and have fun with the movie. He said that we need to drop the idea that banks and central banks are fiscally irresponsible and instead question and threaten their power. That needs to go if we want to get rich. That's the way people think there. And I don't think the way sailors think is that different from that. They are pushing people in the wrong direction. And if we go in that direction, they will push people in that direction who want to drop the idea behind Bitcoin and just use it as a tool for Wall Street. No, I mean, if we let that happen, very bad things will happen. So we need to fight it. In fact, there is a specific effort going on against people who hold Bitcoin to try and get them to follow the rules in this way, and that's done by controlling the conversation in the media. The people who use Bitcoin should want to go back to the original ideas, not the other way around. So part of what we're talking about here is how to beat this equipment, as Mark called it. A lot of what they do, like using their media operations to try to control the conversation, as well as getting people to support things when they don't want to, is this. Isn't it all based on fear? People fell in line because they were scared, just like everything else that happened during COVID. Almost everything they do is based on fear. The best way to avoid that is to not be scared of these people, no matter what tricks they use. This year is election year, not just in the US, but also in a lot of other places around the world. I think that unusual fear-based psyops will keep happening until they get enough people to agree that the best way to avoid them is to not fall for them. There's a trap, and a lot of it is the talk in the media. I also believe that people will try harder to make people very afraid of what's going on online as it becomes more regulated. And you'll feel a lot better if you take a break from technology and spend more time in the real world. I believe this is why, during COVID, they wanted so much of our conversation to happen online and then took even more control of it. They are going to crack down even more on online speech and direct it in very specific ways, all under the guise of election control. They want people in the United States to be fighting all the time. Some of the things that are in the textbook are split and conquer. They have a whole system for fighting internal terrorism and all this stuff about civil war, and we need all of it. The people in America are mostly on the same side, and they want to split everyone up because they are afraid. All of these psyops have been done over and over again, whether it's 9/11, COVID, or something else. It's all based on fear and is meant to keep you from getting involved in your neighborhood. As I said before, it's about being independent at the neighborhood level. A big part of the reaction is getting other people involved, not just yourself, though that's where you should start. It's also about making sure that your fear doesn't hold you back. Whitney and Mark want to make Americans use stable coins and digital tokens that are controlled by business banks, the Fed's public rejection of a directly issued CBDC in the US. Will ease the fake fear that governments and central banks will program your currency to expire, according to a very informative joint post on Bitcoin magazine earlier this year. A former partner of Farmington State Bank, a small rural bank involved in the FTX collapse scandal, has been building CBDC rails. The current system thinks that the American people, especially those groups, won't notice this fake win and the secure coin deposit token system that will be used instead of a direct issue digital currency. No matter what the reason is for moving the US and most of the rest of the world to this new financial system, the same old bankers and companies, including those that were looked at in the FTX scandal, will keep and gain power over every American and anyone else they dollarize. In the TFTF interview, more parts of interviews. Whitney says that Bitcoin is the only thing that can stop this bad stuff. But if we try to use it for our own purposes, it will fail. They were just told by the government to give the other one to the government. What Palantir was at first, So Palantir used to be called Total Information Awareness, but they tried to change it to Terrorist Information Awareness, but they always wanted Total Information Awareness. Which means keeping an eye on everyone for everything and on people biologically, like to stop pandemics before they start. It was also about keeping an eye on money. It was watching what you buy at the store. That's exactly what they're doing again, but this time it's a mix of public and private organizations working together in these vague partnerships. As a result, DARPA doesn't have a single clearly defined program like it was supposed to have. The goal is to completely destroy privacy, to spy on everything, and to stop X before it happens, where X can be anything they don't want to happen or say they don't want to happen, like stopping crime before it happens or pre-crime. William Barr, who was Trump's attorney general, made pre-crime acceptable in the US. It will happen, they've set it up, and they want it all to run on your data. They want to stop things from happening. They'll say it's for terrorist strikes, pandemics, crises X, Y, and Z, or climate disasters. We need to stop it before it happens. All of it is built on algorithms, but they can only get people to agree to it if there is fear in the air. Okay, don't let I have a lot to say. I think I've already said it, so I guess I'll say it again. Don't fall for the fear-based tricks. Just a thought, maybe we should all spend more time away, and don't let Bitcoin become Larry Fink's little girl. That's just plain embarrassing. You asked and brought up a lot of good ideas, Whitney. Are we forgetting the reason Bitcoin was made? Are things like BlackRock bad that we have to deal with so that Bitcoin really does catch on? Feel free to write your ideas, opinions, and observations in the box below. Remember to like this video, follow the channel, and turn on post alerts to get more videos. Thanks for seeing.